fornication. I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
Reverence Yahweh and give glory to him, for the hour of his judgment is come. Worship him who made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of waters.
The great Babylon is fallen because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. Blessed are the dead, the ones dying in the Messiah from now on. Yes, says the Spirit, because they will rest from their labors, by keeping the Sabbath, and their works do follow them.
Behold, I am coming as a thief in the night. Blessed is he who watches, and keeps his garments, or he will walk naked and all will see his shame.
The following takes place between 9 a.m. and 9:15 a.m. There were voices, thunders, and lightnings. There was a great earthquake such as was not since men were upon the earth, so mighty an earthquake and so great. And it came to pass that the great city divided into 3 parts, and the cities of the nations fell. The general assembly and forum came in remembrance before Yahweh, to give to them the cup of the wine of the fierceness of his wrath. Every island fled away, and the mountains were not found. And there fell upon men a great hail out of heaven, every hailstone about the weight of a talent. And men blasphemed Yahweh because of the plague of the hail, for exceedingly great is the plague of it. There came one of the 7 Malachim who had the 7 bowls, and who said to me,
Come, I will show you the sentence of the great whore that sits upon many waters, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, while worshipping the Elohim, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication.
So she carried me away in the spirit into the midst of the idol worshippers, and I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet-colored beast full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns. The woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold, precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. And upon her head was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth. I saw the woman drunk with the blood of the saints and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahshua. When I saw her, I wondered with great astonishment. So the Malach said to me,
Why are you astonished? I will tell you the mystery of the woman, and of the beast that carries her, which has the 7 heads and 10 horns. The beast that you saw was, and is not, and will ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. And those who dwell on the earth whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world will wonder when they see the beast that was, and is not, and yet is. And here is the mind which has wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sits. There are 7 kings, 5 have fallen, and 1 is, and the other has not yet come, and when he comes he must continue a short time. And the beast that was, and is not, indeed he is the 8th, and is of the 7, and is going into perdition. The 10 horns which you saw are 10 kings, which as yet have not received a kingdom, but receive authority as kings 1 hour with the beast. These have one purpose, and that is to give their power and the authority of the people to the beast. These will make war with the Lamb, but the Lamb will overcome them, for he is the ruler of rulers and King of kings, and those who are with him are called, chosen, and faithful. The waters which you saw, where the whore sits, are peoples, multitudes, nations, and languages. The 10 horns which you saw upon the beast, these will hate the whore, and will make her desolate and naked, and will eat her flesh, and burn her with fire. But Yahweh has put in their hearts to perform his will, and to agree, and give their kingdom to the beast, until the prophecies are fulfilled. And the woman whom you saw, is that great city which reigns over the kings of the earth.
After these things I saw another Malach come down from heaven, having great authority, and the earth was enlightened with his glory. He cried mightily with a strong voice,
Babylon the Great is fallen! Is fallen, and is become the habitation of demons, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird. For all nations have drunk of the wine of the wrath of her fornication, and the kings of the earth have committed fornication with her, and the merchants of the earth have grown rich through the abundance of her delicacies.
I heard another voice from heaven saying,
Come out of her, my people, so that you do not partake in her sins, and so that you do not receive of her plagues. For her sins have reached unto heaven, and Yahweh has remembered her iniquities. Render to her just as she rendered to you, and repay her double according to her works. In the cup which she has mixed, mix for her double. In the measure that she glorified herself and lived luxuriously, so in that measure give her torment and sorrow. For she says in her heart, I sit a queen. I am no widow, and I will see no sorrow. Therefore, her plagues will come in one day. Death, mourning, and famine, and she will be utterly burned with fire, for strong is Father Yahweh who judges her. The kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived luxuriously with her will wail over her, and lament for her, when they will see the smoke of her burning standing afar off for the fear of her torment, saying, Alas! That great city New Babylon, that mighty city! For in 1 hour your judgment has come. The merchants of the earth will weep and mourn over her, for no one buys their merchandise anymore. And the fruits that her soul lusted after have departed from her, and all things which were dainty and splendid have departed from her, and she will find them no more at all. The merchants of these things, who were made rich by her, will stand afar off for the fear of her torment, weeping and wailing and saying, Alas! That great city! For in 1 hour such great riches came to nothing.
And every sea captain, and all the company in ships, the sailors, and all who earned their living from the sea, stood afar off and cried when they saw the smoke of her burning, saying,
Alas! Alas! That great city, in which all who had ships in the sea were made rich through her wealth! For in 1 hour she is made desolate. Rejoice over her, O heaven, holy apostles and prophets, for Yahweh has avenged you upon her.
A mighty Malach took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying,
In this way, with violence will that great city New Babylon be thrown down, and will be found no more at all. The voice of harpers, musicians, pipers, and trumpeters will be heard no more at all in her. No craftsman of any craft will be found any more in her. The sounds of industry will be heard no more at all in her. The light of a lamp will shine no more at all in her. And the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride will be heard no more at all in her. For her merchants were the great men of the earth, and by her sorceries all the nations were deceived. And in her was found the blood of prophets, and of saints, and of all who were slain upon the earth.
After these things I heard a great voice, as the voice of many people in heaven, saying,
Hallelujah, Yahweh! Glory, honor, and power unto Yahweh our Father. True and righteous are his judgments. He has judged the great whore who corrupted the earth with her fornication and has avenged the blood of his servants at her hand. Hallelujah, Yahweh!
And her smoke rose up forever and ever. The 24 elders and the 4 living creatures fell down and worshipped Yahweh who sat on the throne, saying,
May this be so! Hallelujah, Yahweh!
A voice came out of the throne, saying,
Praise our Father, all you servants who reverence him, both small and great.
I heard the voice of a great multitude sounding as many waters and mighty thundering that spoke.
Hallelujah, Yahweh! Father Yahweh Almighty reigns. Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to him, for the marriage of the Lamb has come, and all the chosen believers have made themselves ready. To them was granted that they should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white, for the fine linen is the righteousness of saints.
And he said to me,
Right, blessed are those who are called unto the marriage supper of the Lamb. These are the true sayings of Yahweh. Worship Yahweh.
I fell at his feet to worship him, but he said to me,
See that you do not do this. I am your fellow servant and of your brothers who have the testimony of Yahshua. Worship Yahweh. The testimony of Yahshua is the spirit of prophecy. Yahshua Messiah is the King of kings and ruler of rulers.
Heaven opened and I saw a white horse. He who sat upon him was called Faithful and True. In righteousness he judges and makes war. His eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. He had a name written that no man knew but he himself. He was wrapped in a talith dipped in blood, and the name of him is called Yahshua, the salvation of Yahweh. And the armies in heaven clothed in fine linen, white and clean, followed him upon white horses. Out of his mouth goes a sharp two-edged sword, that with it he should strike the nations. He will rule over them with a rod of iron, and he treads the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty Yahweh. He has on his talith and on his banner a name written, King of kings, and ruler of rulers. I saw Malach standing in the sun, who cried with a loud voice, saying to all the fowls that fly in the midst of heaven,
Come and gather yourselves together to the supper of the great Father, that you may eat the flesh of kings, captains, mighty men, horses, and of those who sit on them, and the flesh of all men, both free and bond, small and great.
And I saw the beast, and the kings of the earth, and their armies gathered together to make war against him who sat on the horse, and against his army. The beast was captured, and with him the false prophet who worked signs before him, with which he deceived those who had received the mark of the beast, and those who worshipped his likeness. These both were cast alive into a lake of fire burning with brimstone. And the rest were slain with the sword which proceeds from the mouth of him who sat upon the horse, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh. I saw Malach come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. He laid hold on the dragon, the old serpent, and bound her 1,000 years, and cast her into the bottomless pit, and shut her up, and set a seal upon her, that she should deceive the nations no more until the 1,000 years should be finished. But after that she must be loosed a little season. I saw thrones and those who sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. I saw the souls of those who were beheaded for their witness of Yahshua and for the word of Yahweh, and who had not worshipped the beast nor his likeness, neither had received his mark in their foreheads nor upon their hands. They lived and reigned with the Messiah 1,000 years. But the rest of the dead did not live again until the 1,000 years were finished. This is the first resurrection. Blessed and holy is he who has a part in the first resurrection. On such the second death has no power, but they will be priests of Yahweh and of the Messiah, and will reign with him 1,000 years. But when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan will be loosed out of her prison, and will go out to deceive, seduce, and lead astray the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. They went up on the breadth of the earth, and surrounded the camp of the saints and the beloved city. Fire came down from Yahweh out of heaven and consumed them. And the devil, who deceived, seduced, and led them astray, was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet had been cast, and will be tormented day and night throughout the ages. And I saw a great white throne, and him who sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heaven fled away, and there was found no place for them. I saw the dead, small and great, standing before Yahweh. And the books were opened, and another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged out of those things which were written in the books, according to their works. The sea gave up the dead which were in it, and death and Sheol delivered up the dead which were in them. And they were judged every man according to their works. Then death and Sheol were cast into the lake of fire. This is the second death. Whoever was not found written in the book of life was cast into the lake of fire. I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and there was no more sea. I saw the holy city, Yahweh Shammah, coming down from Yahweh out of heaven, prepared as brides adorned for their husbands. I heard a great voice out of heaven saying,
From now on the home of Yahweh is with men. He will dwell with them, and they will be his people. Yahweh himself will be with them and be their Father. Yahweh will wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there will be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying, nor will there be any more pain, for the former things have passed away.
Behold, I make all things new.
And he said to me,
Write, for these words are true and faithful. It is done. I am Aleph and Tau. I will give to him who thirsts of the fountain of the water of life freely. He who overcomes will inherit all things, and I will be his father, and he will be my son. But the fearful, unbelieving, abominable, and murderers, and whoremongers, sorcerers, worshippers of the Elohim, and all liars, will have their part in the lake which burns with fire and brimstone, which is the second death.
Next time on the Revelation. And there came to me one of the 7 Malachim who had the 7 bowls full of the 7 last plagues, and talked with me, saying,
Come, I will show you the brides, the Lamb's wives.
The construction of its wall was of jasper, and the city was pure gold, like clear glass. The foundations of the wall of the city were adorned with all kinds of precious stones.
Blessed is he who keeps the sayings of this prophecy.
I am coming soon.
Support the Century channel by clicking the like button, subscribing or following, and directly through Patreon with the link listed in the description below.